Maharaj ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad. Kuruchunamani Sava Shastra Siddhantave. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai. Nityalila Pravistam Vishnupad Shri Srila Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Oh. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Nityalila Pravistam Vishnupad. Satchidananda Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Rupanuga Guru Bhagya ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswata Acharya Brinda ki jai. Samadeta Vaishnava Mandali ki jai. Kol Kartel ki jai. Sri Harinama Sankirtan ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. So welcome everyone to our usual Sunday afternoon talk, where we are currently discussing the books of the spoken English spoken lectures of His Divine Grace, the founder of Devashis of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. Currently we are on Sermons of the Guardian of Devotion, Volume 3, and now on Chapter 10. So, and in a couple more weeks we're going to have 2 new books of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. It's been published 2 new books. One by Chaitanya Maharaj, compiled by Chaitanya Maharaj, and one by Madhusudan Maharaj.
Okay. They're already published.
They're published, yeah, we're just waiting for them to come from the press. So, this is Chapter 10. Chapter 10, the Dictation of Sri Guru. So, devotee asks Guru Maharaj, I know at present I'm a conditioned soul and I'm in Maya, but it is said that I have an eternal relationship with Krishna. So is it that I will only know that relationship when I become purified? Guru Maharaj replies, yes. When the mist will be cleared, the sun will shine in its full pristine glory. The mist of misunderstanding in the form of anya bilas, karma, gyan, etc. is a covering. As that covering is gradually dissolved, the internal relationship will appear. Devotee, is this eternal relationship always the same, or can it be changed, such as from Vatsalya, parental loving affection, to Madhura, conjugal love, or from Madhura to Dasya, servitude? Guru Maharaj says, that will be known gradually. When the barrier that the cover will be cleared, it will become revealed. That separating wall will gradually fade, and as it becomes thinner and thinner, the relationship will be conceived. It is a gradual process, and at first will be vague. When we will come to the stage of bhava bhakti, heart's devotion, then it will come within our understanding somewhat, and gradually will become clearer. There are various stages leading to bhava. Anartha, nibriti, nishta, ruchi, ashakti, then bhava. When devotion will reach the stage of bhava, then of course that eternal relationship will appear to a certain extent in a vague way. Then by a gradual process, the definite identification, the particular quality of attraction one will feel for Krishna will become clear. The attraction, the connection between the two is intervened by the foreign propensity of anya bilas, karma, gyan, etc. As that barrier becomes thinner, the nature of rasa as well as its depth and intensity will gradually be disclosed. It is not vague or a product of the imagination, but it is more clear than the sun. So, We were discussing this the other day. At our present stage, we're still fighting with lust, anger, greed, madness, delusion, all of these things. And then everything else is far and away beyond us, actually. It is, we are to understand the procedure and everything, but as far as conceptualizing any of these things at this present time, it will only be imagination. And first of all, we have to come to the stage of nishtha. That means after anartha nibriti, when all of the impure things, that are the non-Krishna things, if you like, are banished from the heart forever, then we reach the stage of nishtha. And nishtha means firm faith that no one can move you from your conception. But even then, Guru Maharaj once he said, nishtha nothing. Nishtha is nothing. So, in fact, Guru Maharaj said, until we reach the stage of Vastu Siddhi, there's still possibility of falling down again into the material world. So Vastu Siddhi means when you reach your, when you actually are born in your spiritual body, if you like. That's called Vastu Siddhi. Before that, you may have conception of your spiritual identity. That's called Swarup Siddhi. But even in the stage of Swarup Siddhi, there's possibility, although extremely rare, of falling again into the clutches of Maya. And the devotee asks, sorry, I'm always forgetting to put this on. Hare Krishna. Okay. So the devotee asks, when the Guru is here, he engages us for something that Krishna wants. But in the absence of our Guru, we may do some devotional service according to our own initiative. How do we know whether Krishna actually wants that particular activity from us? Guru Maharaj replies, preferably we shall inquire from a Shiksha Guru, but if none is available, then we shall try to ask our internal Guru. In such a case, what may be required of me, my master? Please reveal this. We shall have to make this appear to our internal Chaitya Guru and proceed accordingly. Nahi kalyanakrit kaschid durgatim tata gachat. The sincere will have nothing about which to repent. The sincere will have nothing about which to repent. A little awkward English. It means the sincere will not have to repent for anything. He who is sincere to his own self will have such dictation as will help him to progress in his spiritual life. He will ask his master within, in such a case, what should please my Gurudev? I shall do that. As much as I can understand and feel, I shall do. The sincere internal approach will be the last resort. But if any outside Shiksha Guru are available, we must consult with them. Devotee. But sometimes Shiksha Gurus have differences of opinion. Guru Maharaj says, in that case also we are to appeal to our own internal Guru. Please suggest to me which advice I should follow. Please give me some internal suggestion. Otherwise, what can I do? If any difference of opinion should come from the outside guides, then in every case we are to make this appeal to our own conscience and follow that dictation from within. If possible, we shall go to another recognized Shiksha Guru, whom we can consult regarding these differences of opinion. But if there also we fail, then we must appeal to our internal Guru. There's no other alternative. Devotee, But I may ask the Chaitanya Guru, the Guru within my heart. But how shall I know whether the response is coming from the Guru or only from my mind? Srila Guru Maharaj, that will be according to our own realized position. It may not be clear always, but we have no other alternative. Ultimately, it is up to our inner judge to decide. I came to my Gurudev, but my inner selection took me there. How did I leave my previous environment and come to my Gurudev, my internal guide? My internal guide helped me to accept this person as Guru, so I cannot neglect that guide within me. If my dictator within has taken me to a true Guru, then he is not a traitor, so we can consult with him as a reliable friend. Devotee, but we are just neophyte devotees and so do not feel so pure as to be able to communicate with the Chaitanya Guru. Guru Maharaj, yes, it is so, and therefore it will be better, safer, more helpful and easier if it is possible for us to secure a Shikha Guru. But in any extreme case when that is not possible, then we are to appeal fervently to our own Guru within the Chaitanya Guru. Also my own Divine Master may be living, but if I am posted for duty in a faraway place, and some urgent decision is required, then what shall I do? If an immediate decision is required and there is no time to receive my Master's order, I may appeal to my inner Guru, and I shall do that which I consider my Guru will be pleased to accept. I shall take up my duty and work with the assertion, this will please my Gurudev. It is mentioned that one who is surrendered may not commit any offense. If you are surrendered and then appeal, what am I to do, my Master? Please dictate to me, and do accordingly with sincerity. Then if it is wrong also, you are not to be a party to that wrong, because you did not consciously wish to disobey your Guru. You tried your utmost to obey him, cent per cent. But you are not a perfect person. Still, from your position, as much as possible you have done, and he will be satisfied with that. He is all-knowing, he is omniscient, and will see, oh, he has tried his best. This reminds me of Srila Guru Maharaj was with Saraswati Thakur. They were installing deities in the temple, and there was one, I think it was Shroti Maharaj, who was the person who usually did this service, but he wasn't available, so Saraswati Thakur said to Guru Maharaj, you have to do it. Guru Maharaj said, I've never done it before, I'm not really sure what to do. And Saraswati Thakur said, it's okay, here's the Archan manual, everything, you can, from this. So Guru Maharaj did, and he said, the final part of the installation is called Prana Pratishtha. It is when they put the tulsi on the feet of the deity for the first time. So he said where the deities were standing was a little high, so he thought, that will be difficult for Guru Maharaj to reach there. So so he did it. He put the tulsi on there, everything. Then when Saraswati Thakur, he would come and he would open the curtain or open the door in India, more likely a door. So he came there and he opened it up and he saw, tulsi already given to the feet of the Lord. Then he said afterwards, he was telling everyone, and mystically, the tulsi was already on the feet of the deity. I didn't have to do it, because normally he did that. Saraswati Thakur, he would do that as the Acharya. But Guru Maharaj, having not done it before, he thought it would be easier if he did it than Saraswati Thakur. But when Saraswati Thakur saw it, he thought, by some mystical arrangement, the tulsi has already been offered to the feet. And so he was telling everyone afterwards in some conversation, and we had the prana pratishtha, and mystically the tulsi was already offered to the feet, and like that. And Guru Maharaj said, "Oh, I was just thinking, oh no, I really messed up here, you know." And Saraswati Thakur was telling everybody this, and I'm the culprit. And he said, "I felt terrible." So then, when there was an opportune moment, he said, he was alone with Saraswati Thakur, and he said, "Guru Maharaj, I have to confess to you that I put the tulsi on their feet, and I'm very sorry I made such an offense, you know, but you were telling everyone that it had like happened by some like mystical arrangement, and it was actually me. I'm so sorry if I like messed it up big time, you know." And that was when Saraswati Thakur said, "Who is surrendered, they cannot make any offense." So Guru Maharaj is quoting that here. It is mentioned that one who is surrendered may not commit any offense. So, so from our position, we shall try our best, and we will be rewarded accordingly. But we must be cautious that within us there may not be any insincerity, duplicity, or hypocrisy, for such things are self-suicidal. Nahi kalyanakrit kaschid durgatim tata gacchati. One who is sincere, trying for the good, is never to be deceived. In whatever plane he may live, we must be true to our own self, to our own conscience, to our own capacity. We must be true to that plane, and when we rise higher, we must consider and follow the faith of our new plane. We must not be insincere. The dictation of Sri Guru is also similar in that he gives us some order according to our stage of spiritual development. To one who is in a lower stage, he will give a particular order. To one in a higher stage, he will give another order. And one higher still will be given yet another. He will give us orders according to our capacity, stage, and nature. Otherwise, it will be impossible for us to progress. So according to our stage, our duty should be attached, and the results expected accordingly. A man who has the capacity to lift a weight of 10 kilograms will not be instructed to lift 100. This is also something we may consider, that Srila Govinda Maharaj, he never asked his disciples to do anything. One or two close disciples. And also he never chastised any of his disciples. One or two close that couldn't take it, he would do. And why? He said, because if I give them some order and they don't follow it, then they're making Guru Aparad. And Guru Aparad is very heavy. So therefore I not ask any of my disciples to do anything. If they come forward, then okay. When in 2000, after Sagar Maharaj went for married life, then we were here, and he's asking me and others. It was, I think Janardhan Maharaj was here, Giri Maharaj was here, Goswami Maharaj hadn't come at that time. But anyway, we were sitting upstairs, and he's saying, so who can do this service now? You know, who can be in charge here? And I was saying, oh, Sri Govinda, he can do it. You know, he managed Prabhupada's Chicago temple. No, he can't do it. Udaran Prabhu, he did before. No, he can't do it. And everybody I suggested, it gave, some reason why he couldn't do it. Then I realized he wanted me to do it. But he didn't ask me to do it. So then I said, when I could understand what he was like, how he was moving things, and I said, if you want, Maharaj, I'll do it. And he said, yes, that's what I want. That's what I want. So, but he wouldn't say otherwise. If I'd have not volunteered it, but I knew that was what he wanted me to do. Anyway.
We were signed in contract, Udaran suddenly resigned. And you and Gurudev came to my house, I think you remember. And I said, Udaran was resigned, so I said, Gurudev said, will you do it to you? And he said, yes, I don't mind. So do you do mind? No, I don't mind. Being Sunday early morning, you know. And then you took over. And soon he'll only
Yeah.
saying, why you not signing this? Why you not? He said, I haven't got the team to do it, you know.
So Guru Maharaj is saying, if one has the capacity to lift a weight of 10 kilograms, he will not be instructed to lift 100. Devotee then says, but sometimes we feel we have sincerity, but later we realize that the sincerity we had was only superficial. Then Guru Maharaj says, of course it may be possible in all cases to feel in this way. We are to be dealt with according to our stage. A boy should be given the standard of examination of a boy, not of a grown-up man. The question in a boy's examination will be of a different standard than those for the adults. Gradually we will be taken to the higher standards. Parokshavad Vedojan Balanam Anushashanam. Just as a child is guided with some modified policy, similarly, that sort of process has been adopted in dealing with ourselves. Then the devotee says, what should we do if sometimes the Guru should engage us in service above our capacity or ability to perform? Srila Guru Maharaj says, if you think that that particular duty is beyond your capacity, you will simply inform Gurudev, oh, it is very difficult for me to do, and I do not think myself to be fit to efficiently discharge this sort of duty. If I tell you this doubt in my mind, then you may wish to appoint some other service. But if he still says, no, you are to do this, then you will do as best as you can. If you have faith, considering him to be a real guru, then you can attempt to do that duty the best you can. You must consider that he has some super motive, that some higher purpose will be served by engaging you in such capacity. And the devotee says, this Krishna consciousness is very, very beautiful. The cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very sweet. Many people become attracted by Krishna and by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But why after some time do we find that some devotees lose their faith and go away? Excuse me. Srila Guru Maharaj replies, the first thing it depends on is the intensity of the sukriti of the devotee. And secondly is, of course, his free will, his independence. The circumstances will also have their effect. Every action is a combined result of several factors. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita we find Panchaitani Mahabaho Karanani Nibodame Sankhye Kritante Proktani Siddhaye Sarva Karmananam. If we analyze any one event, we will find that it is the combination of different forces from different quarters. So generally we can consider that the devotee's situation will depend on his previous initial merit, the present free will, the environment, and the mercy of the Lord. His free will may cause him to commit Vaishnava aparad, and his previous merit, Sukriti, will tend to keep him floating at the standard he previously acquired. By his free will, he may commit offenses. Also, there is the free will of the environment. The surrounding paraphernalia may grant him their mercy. There are many contributory factors. Devotee then asks, one of your godbrothers told me that we are chanting Hare Rama in the Mahamantra, but we are not supposed to pronounce Rama. He said this is not Shuddha or pure. We should say Ram. Is this correct? Srila Guru Maharaj, Rama is the true pronunciation. But if one says Ram, that does not mean it has no value. It will have some effect. The internal feeling underlying the sound is more important than the pronunciation. One may say Krishna Kanai or so many names, but it depends mainly on the bhava, the internal realization and feeling of the meaning of the word. A child has a particular registered name. His mother may call him by a sound not fully according to that word's pronunciation, but that does not detract anything. Her affection is all in all. If a mother calls her child by a name, that name may not be pronounced in the perfectly correct way, but the affection behind her calling his name is more valuable. So whether we say Rama or Ram may not be considered to be very important. The internal feeling with which the name is taken is of greater relevance. Devotee, sometimes we introduce the Mahamantra to new persons who have no idea or feeling about who or what is Rama and who is Krishna. How should they pronounce the name Rama? Guru Maharaj, naturally they should chant Rama, not Ram, for that is the real pronunciation. If one pronounces it as Ram, that doesn't mean that the whole thing is spoiled, but Rama is the grammatically correct pronunciation. Everything depends on the heart, the feeling and the sincere dedication. The highest importance is your earnestness or your surrender. The child may call his father by the name Papa or by any disfigured sound, but this is overlooked. The inner earnestness is always to be reckoned. Devotee, while introducing the chanting process to many new persons, we find that because of some previous idea, some do not like the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Can we tell them something else, such as Govinda Jaya Jai? Guru Maharaj, that depends upon their stage of devotion. And that is why you find a particular section will chant Govinda Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya. But when asked to pronounce Hare Krishna, they show no enthusiasm. Devotee, our Guru Maharaj has instructed us to chant a minimum of 16 rounds daily. We are neophyte devotees and sometimes don't have so much attraction for chanting 16 rounds. What can we do to become more attracted to chanting? Guru Maharaj is replying, the most important thing is to engage in service. Service of the name and service of Guru Vaishnava are almost equal, but still to a certain extent the basis must be the service of the holy name. Your Guru Maharaj introduced a daily minimum of 16 rounds, and our Guru Maharaj instructed that we must chant at least 4 rounds per day on the mala, the rosary. But this is a minor difference because our Guru Maharaj wanted that we be very busily engaged in various services, but we must see that the mala does not fast. Some sort of service must be done to her by way of chanting at least 4 rounds daily. That was his instruction, but he also instructed that when one had the opportunity, he could chant more and more. The general standard set by Mahaprabhu was not only 16 rounds, but 4 times 16, which equals to 1 lakh or 100,000 names. This is particularly so for one who is not within the body of an organized society, and especially if he is living individually. That means 64 rounds. When one is in an organized body, he always has orders from the superiors to do this and that, and thereby he engages in service. So the minimum quantity of chanting becomes a little relaxed from the 64 rounds. But in the case of grihastas, householders living separately from the main body of devotees, they especially should chant 1 lakh or 64 rounds of name daily. That is the general standard recommended by Mahaprabhu and by our Guru Maharaj. But when one is in an organized body and is required to do service running here and there, sometimes he is so busy that he can't even find any opportunity to sleep in the night. In that case, he will try to chant at least 4 rounds. He is so busily engaged that within 24 hours, he is not taking any rest, but still he is required to chant a minimum of 4 rounds. Whereas the general recommendation is that one who lives individually as a grihasta should chant at least 1 lakh of names, or 64 rounds. Mahaprabhu asked and advised us to purify ourselves with the help of divine sound. But the sound should be properly transcendental Krishna consciousness. And in Kali Yuga, the age of controversy, there will be only the minimum demand from us for our purification. The word Kali comes from Kala, meaning quarrel or controversy. We are cautious about everything. Everyone thinks, no, I won't accept anything without some proof. The mind is very suspicious. So we should take advantage of divine sound. Only the very minimum demand is necessary from us. Yet the transformation which will occur in us will be very great. To have some shraddha or faith is the minimum demand, the minimum admission fee required of us. If I do this, if I attend to this Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy names of God, then everything will be done. That underground faith must be there, and it will help us. That sincere cooperation from the heart is necessary for Krishna consciousness, and that can purify very quickly. To have faith that this process of Krishna consciousness will purify us is the minimum demand. One must think, if I attain this, everything will be done. If such a sort of generousness, wide conviction is there within us, along with a sincere mood of cooperation, then that can help us very quickly. That cooperation means cooperation with the divine sound, the sound aspect of the Supreme. It is easily approachable for the beginners, and from that many other aspects of the infinite will come to help us. Beginning with the universal sound aspect, which is easily approachable, other aspects will follow in its retinue gradually. But our faith must be heartfelt and sincere. I am in difficulty, and this will give real relief to all my troubles. It will put an end to all the troubles I am experiencing now, as well as any I am to experience in the future. I am a bona fide student of searching my own real inner interest. I must be faithful to my own self. I feel that I am uneasy here in this world, and I must search for some home comfort. If I am sincere, I know that the way forward will be open to me, and that is not difficult. It is there in that sound aspect of the Supreme. The greatest reality is Himself present also within the divine sound. The divine sound is not an imaginary thing. Even though to my present conception it is coming and going, appearing and disappearing, it is not a trifling, transient thing. It is reality. And for a beginner, that ear experience is a great thing. Sound carries things from far away, and the ear can catch them. The eye experience is not able to see so far. Well, had happened. One of our devotees, good devotee, when we first came to Guru Maharaj and we made a temple in Blackheath there, and some of us lived in the temple and some lived nearby with their families. So one of our godbrothers, who we knew since ISKCON time, he wrote to complain to Guru Maharaj, all the devotees in the temple, they're only chanting 4 rounds every day, not 16 rounds. What is this? And Prabhupada told us 16 rounds. Why they're only chanting 4 rounds? Guru Maharaj's reply to him was kind of quite humorous. He said, I'm so happy to know that my brahmacharis do not have time to chant 16 rounds every day. So in a way he was chastising the brahmacharis also. You don't have enough time for 16 rounds every day? And but at least they're doing 4 rounds a day. So something like that was first one. He said, but you are a grihasta and you have no specific service, so you should chant 64 rounds every day. That is the recommendation of our Guru Maharaj. I don't think he took it up, but that was what came to him after complaining. So,
at Pran Pratishtha, Lord is putting, somebody has tied the note there, blindfold.
yeah.
And when that ceremony is done, Pran Pratishtha, they show mirror to Thakur.
Yes.
And if mirror is broke, that means Thakur is there in a murti now.
And if it doesn't break?
Then, I don't know, it's not done properly.
Well,
some mistake or something. This is what I heard from.
maybe. We don't find that in Hari Bhakti Vilas. We do find other things that are mentioned in there that prove the deity is now present in there. Some things say, like somebody who's like in the congregation will start showing signs of ecstasy in their behavior. Someone else may start roaring very loudly. Some lightning may come in the sky. There are many things it says in there. I don't think breaking the mirror is mentioned in there, but we do know that Advaita Acharya Prabhu, when he would bow down in front of any deity, if the deity was not actually present there, if Krishna was not present there, the deity would break. So everyone was very afraid to let Advaita Acharya in their temple room, just in case. But there are a number of many symptoms, and when I did the Pran Pratishtha for the deities in Italy, I was looking all those signs, but didn't see any of those signs. Of course, actually, my feeling was that deity was already there, Krishna was already there, and Prana Pratishtha was only a formality. Like for example, a good example from that is that as soon as the Queen Elizabeth died, the moment she died, her son became the king. But it wasn't till, 6 months later that they had the coronation of the king, right? But he was already the king. It wasn't that you're not the king until you get the coronation done. That's like the formality. So I kind of think it was something like that. Even before I went there, Krishna was already there in the form of the deity. And that was something like the coronation, doing the Pran Pratishtha and everything. It was just the formality of like formally acknowledging and inviting him.
But in Italy, there was deity in a picture form.
Yes.
At Gurudev time, so he knew Gurudev.
Gurudev actually said.
Krishna was already there.
Yes, of course. Gurudev gave them Govardhan Shila, Balagopaljiu, and but he did say, in the future, Radha and Govinda will come, and then that happened. 20 years later, that happened, and it was very extremely auspicious event. And just now, 2-3 weeks ago, I went there for the first year anniversary of that. So quickly happened. Quite extraordinary. That deity of Gopinath, his name's Gopinath. He's looks like a very beautiful but very naughty boy.
Who gave the name?
Bhakti Goswami.
Oh.
Anyhow, they're very beautiful. I am biased, of course. I think that Radha Shamsundar are the most beautiful deity in our mission. But they may not agree with me.
I think those looks like our Thakur
Yes.
in Italy.
They do actually, yeah, there is some similarity.
Yes.
But of course they're the same. Krishna is Krishna.
Of course.
But sometimes Srila Govinda Maharaj told me that, when they made the Govinda Kund, they bought the deity of Mahaprabhu, Vijay Vigraha, which they want to take on the boat to go, his water sports, everything, Then, so first of all, which is normal, that on the main altar to the side, there may be a Vijay Vigraha.
Yeah.
Srila Govinda Maharaj put him there, and he said, then the Mahaprabhu who was already there, the temple deity, he said to me, get him out of here. I don't want him in this same altar. And then, so they had to move him to Srila Guru Maharaj's Samadhi, where he stays there. And Gurudev said, I think he was envious of how beautiful he was. Figure that one out. That Mahaprabhu on the altar thought that the Vijay Vigraha was more beautiful and didn't like that. So get him out of here, told Govinda Maharaj. And you also, one extraordinary thing we heard from Guru Maharaj is that he said once that Mahaprabhu here, he comes from California. And
Mahaprabhu in Hudson.
No, Mahaprabhu in Navadvip.
Oh,
in Navadvip. Said he is from California. And how that is that he was carved from redwood from California. Some redwood the Murtiwala purchased from California. Yeah, it was shipped from California. No, the actual Mahaprabhu on the altar there. And when Guru Maharaj had him installed, he went to the Murtiwala and he said, how much is your normal price for making this deity of Mahaprabhu at this size? This is what I require. And he said, no, don't worry, Swamiji, I'll give you best price. He thought Guru Maharaj is like trying to negotiate a cheaper price. And Guru Maharaj said, no, if you can make the Mahaprabhu that lives in my heart, I'll give you double your normal fee for doing that. And when he was finished, Guru Maharaj considered, yes, that is the Mahaprabhu who lives in my heart. So there we are. Already, before we ever came anywhere, he was connected with California. So, time is 1:45. Some very extraordinary things.
There was one Mahaprabhu who was hanging there, you long ago.
Yeah, he's in Hatton Cross now.
Oh,
That was how things... Sagarmarch. So Sagarmarch had a centre in Harrogate, and he bought that Mahaprabhu there.
From India.
From India, yeah. But they couldn't maintain that centre.
Yes.
So for some time it was in Diadargaranga, had a shop just behind Selfridge's, an art gallery. Sweetwater's Fine Art, it was called. And he kept that Murti of Mahaprabhu down in the basement there. And they had some programs and, like that with him. But then he also couldn't maintain that. Jai Gurudev. Sita-di Jai. He couldn't keep that place. Couldn't keep the place in behind Oxford Street. So that was when he came here. The big Mahaprabhu came here. And that was in the time of Gurudev. So now we have two Mahaprabhus. And then on two occasions Gurudev said, when we get a new center, and the big Mahaprabhu, he can go there. So that was what happened.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Big and beautiful.
Yes. And I think that shortly, I don't know exactly, but shortly then Radha and Govinda of a proportionate size will also come there to Hatton Cross. That would be very good. That's my feeling.
About doing in Waterloo Station?
Well, that's the question. That's the question that everyone is asking. Now, Dayal Granga also had an art gallery there in Waterloo Station, and so Sagar Maharaj lived in there, in the back room.
To have a bath.
Yeah, and then he moved to another train station. From Waterloo, he moved to another train station, which was Queenstown Road in Battersea, and he had it was one of Dada's storerooms that he had. He lived in there, and he used to, before the trains would start in the morning, he'd come out and take bath on the platform.
Yeah.
That's very austere, man. So anyhow, chapter 11. This is chapter 11. How are you, Sita-di? Okay.
Yeah, today my son, 2 years.
Oh, okay. We're happy to see you.
Yeah.
Chapter 11, Distributing Divinity. Mahaprabhu has issued a general order. Whomever you meet, talk with him only about Krishna. Jare deka tarakaha Krishna upadesh. Amara agaya guru hana tara e desh. Whomever you find, talk with him only about Krishna. In that case, I am your guru. Mahaprabhu has given this most broad and wide advice. The underlying feeling is, do relief work. All are in danger, acute danger. So don't consider so many minor things, but go on with relief work and connect all fully with Krishna. The jaw of death is devouring them. Save them. Now they are in the human species, but after death they may be lost in some other species. So while their heads are on the surface, try to hold them. Otherwise they may dive deep into the inner current and you won't be able to see them. From the human species they may go down to another species and be lost waiting there. Oh, Prabhu, welcome. Can you bring one of those, the metal chair?
Metal chair?
That are in the garden? The brown one?
Yes.
There are so many different layers, but when they are waiting there, floating their heads are seen above the water. Catch them, save them. Otherwise, at the next moment, they may go down under the water and they will be lost without trace. So wherever you find them, somehow connect them with Krishna. Try to give them that connection. It is so urgent. Take the name of Krishna, always. You can have no plea of I am taking food or I am going to sleep. Our Guru Maharaj wanted the continuous attempt. He said, while taking food or going to bed, doing anything or going anywhere, keep connection with Krishna. Only try to keep his connection. Our connection with Krishna is so urgent. What a valuable life that is. And where are we? In the jaws of mortality. So everyone needs to be saved. Save them. Do relief work. In this general activity, no specific order is necessary. It is a general thing. It is common sense in the devotional school. And by this process, you will be helped yourself. You will be able to keep yourself from sinking. Just as by the movement of one's hands and feet, one can keep himself floating on water. It is something like that. You'll need, Mara said you need to bring another for her also. Prabhu, you're okay there, or you want a seat like this? You sure? Okay, then give this for Ma.
Give it to me.
No, for...
I change this one to you. Very hard.
Can bring another. It is something like that. Kirtan will help you in that way. So try to practice Krishna consciousness any time and every time to anyone and everyone. There is an article in which our Guru Maharaj addressed his disciples, Vipala Udharan Bandhugan. You are my saviors. You are all saviors to me in my danger, in the real danger of my life. He addressed his disciples in such a way. You are all my saviors. You have given me support. You have come to hear me. And so I have the chance of kirtan, Krishna kirtan. So you have come to save me. You are supplying food to me. Otherwise I would have died without the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Without engagement in this internal atmosphere, we are helpless without the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. You have all come to give me engagement in Krishna Kirtan, and so you have come to save me from my dangerous position. He addressed his disciples in such a way. It is so deep. You are all my friends, and you have come to release me from my danger, to save me from my danger. He saw his disciples in such a great way. And this is reality. So Krishna Kirtan is the only life-giving, life-saving thing in this world. Without Krishna consciousness, the souls are going down deeper into the unknown quarter. Then Guru Maharaj says to a devotee, you have returned here to the mott after taking the name of Krishna throughout the world. Krishna Kirtan was so dear to our Guru Maharaj, and especially to carry Krishna consciousness to the West. His incarnation at this time was mainly meant for that, to take it to the Western civilization. Then the devotee says, in the countries where I preach, the law says that everybody has to have a job. Therefore, the devotees are all working. In addition to their regular work, they are also doing puja and so on. Sometimes they say it is becoming mechanical. Their puja, sadhana, lectures, etc. are becoming mechanical. So their question is how to keep everything in such a way that it is fresh. Guru Maharaj. How can it be mechanical? Mechanical will be that which is ordered by the government. Physically we are to observe that, but our inner tendency will be towards the worship. Then how can that be mechanical? That is real, and the mechanical thing will be the outer show, which the government requires of us. When Mahaprabhu began his Sankirtan preaching mission, at that time the two brothers, Rup and Sanatan, were engaged in the service of the king in Gaudadesh. They were very high scholars and studied the scriptures. Sanatan found that the time for the Juga Avatar, the Lord's incarnation for Kali Yuga, to preach Nama Sankirtan was drawing near. So he was alert. Has that incarnation appeared? And where? Then when he heard that in Navadvip, Nam Sankirtan, the preaching of the holy name has already begun by Chaitanya Dev, as Gauranga, he could trace that the avatar, the incarnation of the Lord, must have come there, and that Gauranga was that avatar. Then he wrote a letter to Mahaprabhu. We are fallen souls and are engaged in the management of the government, which is anti-Hindu. We are engaged in such a position, and outwardly we are affected by this influence. So what will be our future? Mahaprabhu replied to them with a letter in which he wrote, Para vyasani nori vyagrapi griha karmasu tad evashvadayati anta navasanga rasayanam. A married lady who has love and affection for another gentleman may be seen to be always engaged in her household activities, but her heart always realizes or tastes the company of that person whom she loves. Though outwardly she is seen to be very busy with household work, at heart she is always enjoying the company of her beloved. Similarly, outwardly you may be captured and may be seen to be busy in the association of the government's activities, but your heart is not there. It is searching something, and it is receiving the benefit of the association of that inner substance. So others cannot capture our heart. They can control our physical activity, but whenever we shall do something in the form of worship, of Harinam, our heart will go there. So how can that be mechanical? The mechanical side will be the outer side, and the sincere side will be the inner. The man is inside. The man proper is not found in his forced activity. Generally also, ordinary men do like that. They outwardly show their cooperation and show that they are not interfering with politics, but internally the heart cannot be captured by anyone. The devotee's heart will go always towards the Lord. Of course, when great personages like Christ, Muhammad, or Sri Chaitanya Dev himself come for the good of the public, they preach openly, thus causing disturbance to the existing order, and there is some clash. They cross over that and they are victorious. But as far as ordinary people are concerned, the government does not generally challenge them or interfere in their private affairs. But when preaching from a center where there is the sort of inspiration, you fight with the external circumstances and establish this particular creed and thereby save the people. In this case, there will be some difficulty. There it will be necessary to fight with any anti-party. But for the private individuals practicing life, that is not necessary. It's true. In your own home, you can do anything. That was our saving grace here. On the first time when we had Janmastami, midnight arti, then the neighbors, they complained to the Newham Council. Oh, they're having this big raucous noise at midnight. And so they sent an inspector. For our fortune, good luck, he was a Sadhuji, a Sikh. He was a Sikh man. He came in, looked around, and he said, "Oh, I'll just say you're at a Hindu house, and you're just practicing your religion in your home. Then the government can't say you can't practice your own religion in your own home." So, and Janmashtami, naturally you invite some people. They have some celebration midnight. So everyone now and again having some party in their house, aren't they? Going on early in the morning. So then everything was fine. But for our own self, we can live in our own home and practice Krishna consciousness. But when you want to go for preaching, to make some preaching arrangement, then difficulty comes. Srila Govinda Maharaj said to me, because, you remember Prita Krishna, he had some idea to raise money from the government for our mott here. And Srila Govinda Maharaj said, don't think that the government will support you, because government is always in favor of the asura. Always. So, then we knew that. Okay. So then the devotee says, in some countries the devotees are not allowed to preach. They are allowed to worship in their houses, but outside they are not allowed to preach. So what do you recommend for them so that they may advance in spiritual life? Guru Maharaj says, to do whatever is possible, to make the best of a bad bargain. That should be the policy. Whatever is possible to do, you should take that advantage inside the house. Later, if the Lord wishes, favorable circumstances will come, and then you will push out. At present, you alone cannot fight with them in this respect, so as much as possible you will do it inside. But if the Lord wishes for preaching there outside, he will give you favorable circumstances, and then you can go out. Otherwise, save yourself first, and do as much as possible within the circumstances, with the policy of making the best of a bad bargain. When the special will of the Lord will come to devour the whole and change the people's hearts wholesale, then the circumstance will be otherwise. But at present, first save yourself, and then do as much as is possible to make progress, and be satisfied with that. Just fighting is not necessary, but to keep up the very life, that is necessary. The fire, the spark is there. When it will be in a favorable environment, it will be transformed into a conflagration. The spark must be maintained. And the devotee says, so how can we maintain the fire? Guru Maharaj replied, in your heart, and whomever you find to be favorable, you can spread it to them. But in a restricted way, not very boldly asserting or pushing outwards, keeping within that limited boundary. Do as much as possible without inviting the outward clear fight, and don't enter into politics. As much as possible you must try, but that means to be prepared to risk everything and to die, to be a martyr. But to actually fight is not necessary. As much as possible you will follow Jukta Vairagya, the middle path. As much as possible. Jukta Vairagya means not a clear external fight, but to go on to maintain everything in a consonance, in harmony with the external circumstances. And whenever you get any chance to advance, capture it. In this way you should go on. We see for a long time in Russia it was like that. Before the fall of communism, you couldn't preach Krishna consciousness openly there. And even now in China, you can't. We have centers in China and devotees in China, but they can't go dressed like this. And then, in fact, the government, and they usually know when our devotees are there also, but the government say, if you tell, here is a religious preacher, we'll give you some money. We'll give you some big money if you tell where the religious preachers are. They can be put in prison. And so in Russia they used to do that, the devotees that were there. They instead of chanting on their Tulsi Mala, they sewed their Tulsi Mala onto their coat as buttons. So Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, on the buttons of their coat. Like that. Now it's different, but not that much different actually. The government tried to make a ban on Sankirtan in Russia. They for a while everything was fine. Then the Russian Orthodox Church became quite important over there again, and the head of the Russian Orthodox Church, he wrote an article, and in that article he said, Krishna is a diabolical devil, he told in that article. And then they teamed up with the Muslims over there, and they tried to say that the Bhagavad Gita was a scripture which incited anarchy and to overthrow the government. But that didn't go through, that didn't work. Then they tried to pass a law that any prasadam with distribution had to be labeled not suitable for Christians or Muslims because this food has been offered to idols. They tried to push that one. That also didn't go through. Mainly because Russia has such a good relationship with India. They don't want to disturb that. When I went there with Gurudev when was it? 2003 maybe. Or 2000. Anyway, we went there. They had a big, Avadut Maharaj had organized a big program in Moscow. And he was going to have like preaching in all the main parks in Moscow. There's a lot of parks in Moscow. Then the Russian Orthodox Church, they wanted to put a stop to it. So then they called Avadut Maharaj in, the government, and they said, "Oh, we're going to have to stop your program because we've had some complaints. We're going to have to stop your program." And Avadut Maharaj, who's extremely clever, he said, "Yeah, okay, and you'll tell the Indian ambassador, will you? Because he's like the guest of honor for this program. Yeah? You'll tell him, explain to him why that's." No, okay. So then they said, you can have it, but you have to make it reduced, smaller size, right? So they gave us the main park, maybe Gorky Park, or it's the main park in Russia, in Moscow. There, and Avadut Maharaj came back all crestfallen. He's all crestfallen, and he told Srila Govinda Maharaj, "I'm really sorry, but it looks like only 20,000 people will come to this program now." He was very upset. And it was a really good program, actually. Srila Gurudev spoke to 20,000 people. And the High Commissioner of India came as the guest of honor. Anyhow, that preaching's still going on. And our temple in Moscow, the wall of our temple's this side, the other side of the temple is the offices of the KGB. They're not called the KGB anymore, maybe Politburo or something, but their offices back onto our temple. And Avadut Maharaj has a big restaurant there in next few, like 100 yards down. It's called Jagannath Express. And they've got like maybe 6 branches throughout Russia now, different parts of Russia.
Has Russia banned ISKCON there?
Huh?
Has Russia banned?
No, it's going to have a centre there. But this is not as successful as our centre, surprisingly. They came to the opening of our temple in St. Petersburg, which is a beautiful temple. They built a temple. I was there for that.
I've been there.
Gurudev. Yeah, it's a beautiful temple. Huh? And when the ISKCON devotees came, they asked Avadut Maharaj, how do you deal with the mafia? Because there's a big mafia in and Avadu Maharaj said, "Oh, we are the mafia." Anyhow, so yeah, and if you get a chance, go and see that temple. It's beautiful, the one in St. Petersburg particularly, and they have big deity of Mahaprabhu and Radha Madan Mohan.
ISKCON also have a big, big temple of ISKCON.
It's going to have a centre. It's not that big though, but I'm not really sure actually, to be honest. So Guru Maharaj is saying, maintain the fire within. You may not be able to do everything outwardly. So then Devotee says, so how can we maintain the fire? And Guru Maharaj replies, in your heart, and whomever you find to be favourable, you can spread it to them, but in a restricted way, not very boldly asserting or pushing onwards. Keeping within that limited boundary, do as much as possible without inviting the outward clear fight, and don't enter into politics. As much as possible you must try, but that means to be prepared to risk everything and to die, to be a martyr. Oh yeah, we read this already. Reminded me that Srila Guru Maharaj once he said, yes, it's very good to die for the cause, but it's much better to live for the cause. So wait and see and do your duty. Don't rush ahead forcibly or hastily. Otherwise your energy will be wasted. The higher quality energy will be wasted in a lower class of fight. The higher quality substance will be wasted. Though actually it is not really wasted, but for the time being it will be checked. No energy used in service is ever wasted. Nehabit krama nasho sti pratyayao navidyate swalpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a small beginning in this devotional service cannot go in vain, nor can any loss be suffered. The most insignificant practice of such devotional service saves one from the all-devouring fear of repeated birth and death in this world. Still, the best policy is not to invite any fight, but to approach in a mild way, ready to make the best of a bad bargain. Otherwise, if you go directly to attack, you will be killed or imprisoned. But that is also one type of policy. One may be imprisoned, but also because of one's incarceration, the atmosphere may change. Or if one is murdered like Christ, then some influence may also come out of such a life-sacrificing position. That also we find, but that is an extreme step. We have one sannyasi there or we did, in Moscow. His name's Bhakti Ashray Dandi Maharaj. And they did a big feature on him in the Daily Telegraph, maybe a couple of years ago now, but he was arrested for teaching yoga. And a lot of the preaching there is via yoga. So in Russia, yeah. So he's a yoga teacher. So he wasn't even dressed as a sannyasi or anything, but they suddenly passed a law that yoga was some kind of devil worship or something. So he was arrested for that, and he was released because there was pressure from all over the world. But now, so then after that he went to the Ukraine to preach. But because of the war, he can't stay in the Ukraine because he's Russian. And if he goes back to Russia, they'll immediately conscript him into the army. So he's living in exile in India now. He stays all the time in Vrindavan. I'm not sure legally or illegally or what, but he's in Vrindavan because he can't go back to Russia and he can't go back to the Ukraine. So a really very nice devotee. In fact, he just produced our new calendar for the Vaishnava festival calendar. He's Russian, yeah. We want the middle course. We will wait and see and take any good chance to advance, but not waste our energy in the first fight. This is the policy. One who wants victory won't be very rash, but he will be very diplomatic, sometimes coming back, sometimes making progress, and sometimes taking a firm stand. So military force is not all, but the strategy and tactics have their position. One kind of policy also is that the military may attack the enemy from another side. Similarly, in your preaching duties, you may try to make some progress where there is not so much restriction from the authorities. Then if those people should accept your preaching proposition, they will become strong and the opposition will be influenced from that direction. We won't go to attack from the side, but if it is more suitable to attack from another side or from the rear, then we can prepare our army there. So instead of going immediately to capture a particular section, you may preach somewhere else within that region. The influence will gradually spread until it reaches the neighbors of that section, and ultimately they themselves will be influenced a little later. It is also not necessary that our attention for preaching be drawn specifically to a certain section. There are so many people to be helped. When I was in Madras, some people came and said, "Oh, you don't help the diseased people and the poor. You don't attend any hospital or any deathbed. But if they die, to whom will you preach? What is your answer?" I answered, "Suppose there's a famine and some food is given by the government. If I'm distributing that food to so many people all around who are begging for food, but one man runs away, should I stop my distribution and run after him? Or because there are so many people here, shall I continue distributing? There is no want of people to receive the distribution. There is a whole throng. So should I stop distributing?" This is, Guru Maharaj often use this argument. If you're giving food and somebody's running away, should you stop the distribution and run after that person? No, you must take something. When you've got people queuing up to take the food. So, no, you wouldn't do that. So, similarly, there was something I wanted to say about that. Maybe that'll come to me. I forgot it now.
In the hospital, there are doctors to care for the patients. So if the patients want some spiritual guidance, they can request it, like the priest.
Yeah.
So I don't see what the problem is.
Well, I mean, it's just a thing that was happening at a particular time in India. Oh yeah, it was. Who should we? Oh, I nearly came again there, but it's gone now. Similarly, everywhere there are so many souls to receive our preaching. They are needy, and leaving them we shall not go to dogmatically seek a particular section and only run after them, for that has no value. Needy persons are everywhere. There is no dearth of people to receive what we have, even if it is only a little. You have the duty to distribute devotion to the public, but there is no dearth of recipients. Everywhere on every side of you there is demand, so you can go on distributing where it is necessary and favorable. Not that leaving a particular group who are demanding, you will select one particular place only and go there. Only if your energy is overflowing, then you can go. Otherwise, there are so many places where you can distribute Krishna consciousness. So utilize yourself there. That is to make the best of a bad bargain. And if you find some evil influence, some anti-party coming to cause disturbance to your preaching of nectar, then you will oppose them, but only as much as possible within your power. We are to follow the middle path, just as in the case of vairagya, renunciation. We follow jukta vairagya. Too much renunciation will waste our energy, and too much indulgence is also a waste of energy. Therefore, we are advised to follow the middle path, and that is called Jukta Vairagya. Natya ashnatas tu jogosti, na choikantam anashnata, nachati strapna shilasya, jagrato naiva charjuna. O Arjun, yoga practice is impossible for anyone who overeats, undereats, oversleeps, or undersleeps. The middle path has been recommended. Too much of anything is to be left aside. If one attempts to live without sleep or without food, that is bad. And too much food or too much sleep is also bad. We are advised to accept the middle path, and that will be more progressive and fruitful. So to make the best of a bad bargain should be the policy. We are not to specifically invite a fight, and also we are not to only avoid it. The middle course will always be helpful for us. We are not to lose our energy, to waste it only for fighting, but it is necessary for us to give the positive thing and engage our energy there. If we can give a thing to the left side, why should we be determined to go to the right side and thereby waste our energy? Our business will be to give and to distribute the nectar, and we shall have no stubbornness to distribute nectar on the right side only. If any opposition comes, we can go to the left side and distribute there. Distribution of nectar and saving people is our object of life, and not to concentrate on or be biased towards a particular group. Wherever and however we get the facility, by that way we shall go. If a particular route is considered to be dangerous, then we shall go by another, neither wasting our energy nor the opportunity. So Jukta Vairagya, the middle course, is to make the best of a bad bargain. It means neither inviting a fight nor avoiding it, but taking the middle course. According to our capacity, we will be able to face the opposition, but merely love of opposing is not necessary. We should have no prejudice for anything. Unprejudiced, we shall only engage in the positive line. In that way we shall move. We should live for the positive interest and not for the love of any negative things, such as, I love to fight with the enemies. I fight with the enemies, that is one thing. To fight with the enemies, that is one thing. And to distribute nectar to the public at large is another. In order to do that, you must first know the proper conception and all the circumstances yourself, and only then try to give that to others. No false representation will be helpful. So first be sure of your own knowledge, then distribute it. Half-truth is more dangerous than falsehood. In only 12 years, Swami Maharaj did such a miracle, it is inconceivable. What he has done is more than a miracle. So I say it is and was not, was not his power, but inspired by some higher agency he did it. That is also his credit that he could invite the higher help. He had such great hankering for preaching, any time and every time. What Mahaprabhu came here for, that is the best necessity of everyone. So any engagement for any purpose other than to preach the doctrine of Mahaprabhu is not only a waste of energy, but it is a loss for the whole population. The fittest thing necessary for all time to come and for everyone is Krishna consciousness, Krishna connection. Try to commit whatever you come across with Krishna. Try to connect whatever you come across with Krishna, the highest benefit of everyone. And without that, whatever engagement we shall do will not only be a loss of energy, but disservice to the people by drawing their attention to some bogus enterprise. It is bad and injurious. So only give connection with Krishna, the infinite lover, the beloved absolute. Try to give everyone connection with Him. There we are. So really time for arati. Does anyone have a question about that? Any of that, or about anything? No? Everyone knows everything then. Usually I have a question, Ram. No question, Ram?
No, I wouldn't go through the whole course. Nothing.
So, let me see. And for those of you who may not be familiar, when Guru Maharaj says Swami Maharaj, he means A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. His sannyas name was Swami Maharaj. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj. So to his godbrothers, he was known as Swami Maharaj. Guru Maharaj said, I cannot but take him as Shakjabe Shavatar.
Or maybe I'm going soon because my minicap coming.
Oh,
I
okay.
give it 30 pounds, buy some rice and dal for
Okay. Yes. We are remembering you and your son. All right. So if there's no question or comment, we can finish now, and then we can do arati if he's ready for that. You can check with Dharkeshwar, Vijay Krishna Prabhu. So just for those, just so you all know, the 17th, Wednesday the 17th, Ram Navami. So we'll be celebrating that here, appearance of Ramchandra. And then on the 20th, Saturday the 20th, that's the disappearance day of Srila Govinda Maharaj. So we'll be having a big festival for that to
20
remember.
April.
20th of April, yes, Saturday. And 17th is Wednesday, Ram Navami.
At 20 what time? Evening or afternoon?
Morning. It's Saturday, so from about 11. Yes.
Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, from about 11 onwards. 11 in the morning onwards. Yeah, here. Both places, yeah. All right. Jai Saparikash Sri Guru Guranga Radha Sham Sundar Dev Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bhagya Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande.